The McCarthy Auto Group invites you to join us in supporting our community's fallen police officers at the Police Memorial Benefit Basketball Tournament. The tournament will be held on Saturday, March 30th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Olathe North High School. The tournament is open to the public and free of charge. There will be a bake sale, silent auction, and barbecue lunch with 100% of the proceeds being donated to the Cy Middleton Fund. Visit kccars.com to find out how to make a donation today or call us at 913-324-7200.
All right, let's bring him on right now. He is the defending champion of the King of America Nationals. It'll be going on next weekend down at Humboldt Speedway. Just recently coming off a win Sunday night down at Boot Hill Speedway in Louisiana. Congratulations on that win. Thanks for coming on, Stormy.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
How about, let's first of all talk about that victory on Sunday night, big 3-day weekend down south. Just tell us about that victory on Sunday night down in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm in this new LG2 by Owens, and we're just trying to race as much as possible before that King of America. We're trying to get all the bugs worked out of it, just trying to get it where I feel like it needs to be at before we hit that race. So we're definitely getting better every time we go out in it, and it was definitely a victory I felt like we needed. It's definitely nice to get a win right before the King of America and get that momentum going into that deal. So I guess we'll see next week how everything works out.
Stormy, this is Scott Traylor. I'm down here in Devil's Bowl, and I got to ask you, and you've won some big races, and USMTS is known as the modified series, the World of Outlaws, so to speak, of modified racing. What's it mean to win the King of America race? What did it mean to win that race, knowing that that is one of the marquee events on the USMTS schedule?
Well, first, I couldn't even believe that I actually won it after I crossed the checkered flag, just because it was such a big race. It was definitely the biggest one I'd ever won, and then I guess to top it off, it's a racetrack I always run good at, and it's a place that I've always liked, and I don't know, it's hard to explain. I still couldn't believe that I won it, and it was it definitely made me excited last year to win something that big and that early in the year, that I just felt like I knew that it was going to be a pretty good year for me. So I definitely hope that I'd definitely love to win it again, and maybe even get another big one in the year, and try to even make this year even better than last year was.
It's the most uncomfortable feeling, not just getting out of the race car after it's over. That's a thrilling deal. But putting on that robe and the king's hat and sitting in that big chair after it's all over, what was that like?
It was nervous, but made me excited at the same time. And normally the average person, you got to put on a cape and you got to put on a king's hat or something, and you'd rather just not do it because you feel embarrassed or something. But I was all for it just because I was excited, and I knew we had won that race and all that money, and I don't know, just really cool. I actually got to keep the hat and the cape, so I gave that to my grandparents, and they have it in the trophy room, so I'll definitely at least get to have that one forever. So,
Stormy, you guys beat up and down the road, man. I mean, it's a grind. I travel up and down the road with the Lucas Oil Sprint Car Series, and we only have, 52 dates or whatever it is this year, 55. It was 62 last year. As a guy that is a professional race car driver, runs up and down the road and trying to make a living doing what you're doing, how tough is it?
Well, it's definitely tough. I mean, I'm based out of, Oklahoma now, and my home is Las Cruces, New Mexico, but shoot, I get to hang out at home maybe 2 months out of the year is it, and not even stable, or not even, solid. It's just off and on, but I don't know. I like traveling. I mean, it'd probably be different if I had my own family or a wife or something like that. But I mean, when you're a single guy, it definitely helps. It makes it a lot easier, but I don't know. I like it. Right now I plan on probably doing it for quite a while, just traveling like this nonstop. So it's I guess it's what I want to do right now. So
It's important to win some of these big money races, though, to keep that bank account fat and happy when you're traveling, though. I mean, you can win a bunch of the regular A mains, but those big paydays, that really helps the cause a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You always want to win them big ones for sure. It makes it nice when you get one of those because it feels like it lifts the weight off your shoulders. But you need to run good. I mean, no matter what the race is. As many times as you race, you need to run as good as possible. It definitely, it helps with sponsors and it helps with everybody's mood, and it kind of just helps out everything. Helps out your attitude, helps out the teams, helps out, momentum and confidence, and it's definitely something that I would like to do every time out. Is run really good. So that's what the plan is.
Stormy Scott is joining us here this morning. He is the defending champion heading into next weekend's King of America 3 down at Humboldt Speedway. About your background coming out of Las Cruces, New Mexico, a lot of good modified racers from out of that area. Tell us about your formative years growing up racing out of Las Cruces.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think we're probably one of the first places to start with, young kids getting to, race full-size cars. There's a lot of places where you can start, in go-karts and quarter midgets, and stuff like that. But I guess we did. Me and my brother started in go-karts, but we went to street stocks when we were 11 years old and then raced those for a year and a half, and then we went straight to a modified, and we've been in, we've been in modifieds ever since then. We've drove stock cars, a little bit here and there, super stocks and stuff, not very much. And then I got to do that late model on Speed Week, so it's definitely been it's been a lot of fun, that's for sure. But that's all I've raced, I guess, about all my life now is a modified. So which I love modified racing. I think it's one of the most competitive racing you can do in the United States, and I hope I can keep doing it for a while.
Why is the modified racing so competitive down around Las Cruces? I know Southern New Mexico Speedway's had some good modified racing down there, but why has that been so strong down there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of them places, because we're so far out there that it's just one of them places that's overlooked. There's a lot of good racers out there, for one, and when you race with people that are good, obviously other people around you, they get faster, and you're as good as the people you race with. It just makes you better. Well, out there, there's a lot of people. It's so far out there, a lot of people don't travel, but because all of us, grew up racing against each other. All of us are really fast, and that's why when the big shows would come around out there, every time we have in qualifying nights, and 4 out of the top 5 that are in the A feature would be cars from out there.
Right. Royal Jones does a pretty good job down there at Southern New Mexico Speedway. And I travel with a guy that's a pretty big fan of yours. He's a sprint car guy, but Brian Holbert, I travel with him up and down the road. He's called a race or two of yours, hasn't he?
Yeah. I've known Brian. I think we've known each other since, forever, since we were little kids. We grew up at the racetrack together before I raced, before he ever announced or anything. So I've known Brian for a while.
Well, that's I always love getting down there to El Paso and Southern New Mexico Speedway. It's one of my favorite trips, and love racing down in the Southwest. And, you mentioned about some of the guys that travel down there. We're seeing more and more of the guys from back in the Midwest when it's the early or late in the season running down there to run some of those big money shows that Royal puts on. So more and more people are starting to venture down that way.
Yeah, he definitely puts on one of the best paying big races around anymore, and and he keeps making it better and better. So it's hard for anybody, no matter where you're from, to not go to go out there at least twice a year, because he has them big shows spread out. But for that fact that as good as it pays, even if you have bad luck and something bad happens, still I think in the B or C or what is like 700 to not even get out of that thing. So I mean, it helps tremendously. We race, even some of the USMTS stuff. I mean, you get done racing and you had a bad night or something, and you get, a couple $100 or something. So, his race just, it, pays so good. So it's just hard not to go out there.
All right, here's the question everybody wants to know. Who's the better race car driver, you or Johnny?
Probably not going to answer that.
So we know the answer. That's all right. That's okay. That's good.
Now, come on, Stormy.
You have to be confident, right?
If you really thought you were the better racer, why wouldn't you just say, I'm better than he is?
Oh, he doesn't. Well, he's being humble, right?
Oh, I mean, there's so many factors into that. It's hard to ever say who's better than somebody else that does it for a living. I mean, it comes down to the car and how good you got your car right now versus something. I mean, it would be something to where you'd almost have to have a match race, but you'd have to have, two identical cars that fit your driving style perfect. And then, of course, racing, everybody says it, but it is true, I believe in racing, over half of it is luck. And,
right. No, I agree. I agree.
9 times out of 10, I would rather be lucky than good any day. So.
But don't you have to create your own luck?
Oh, definitely. I mean, as of, working on the car and maintenance it, and stuff like that, and not doing, stupid stuff, putting yourself in a position you don't need to be in, yeah, you create a lot of your luck. I think you still have that little bit of luck, sometimes where, something happens and you get lucky, but, yeah, I believe you create your own luck, and but you also got karma, but that's a different story there. So
these modified cars are forever evolving and forever changing. The sophistication of these chassis changes all the time. What's different about the race car that you have here campaigning in 2013 that you've made it better over, say, last year?
I think what's better, maybe better on this car than the one I had last year is, it's hard to say. I would say
not want to share that. You might not want to share that secret.
I don't blame you for not saying it, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
Yeah, can you tell me how much rollout you're running and how much?
No, right. I guess if you could be more generic, what are the aspects of these cars that change the most from year to year, from chassis to engines to shocks to whatever? What if you can be generic that way? I don't want you to give out any trade secrets or anything, but what parts of the race car change the most from year to year?
And cost.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind saying some stuff about it. I think what's different on this car from any other car is actually the guy that actually welded this car up is
interesting.
He's probably one of the best welders there is, and he a lot to do with these cars before you even even the way they're designed, a lot to do with them is where how the guy welds them up and what tubing's in them and stuff makes more difference than anything. And this car definitely is way different than the one last year. It's I don't know. I think this one, just the guy that put it together definitely knew what he was doing and took his time and stuff like that. So I think that makes a big difference, number one. And of course, every year, our motor combinations are changing. And you change your motor combination, you have to end up, changing. You change your shock numbers and your spring rate. There's, you change one thing, and it seems like you got to change 10 little things to make up for it. And, try to get where you need to be. And you always, every weekend, you're always testing, just a little bit, tweaking stuff here and there. Trying to just get a little bit better and stuff like that. I mean, it's when you find something, it'd be nice, if you could just leave the car sitting there exactly how it is, just race it all year. But
right.
usually if you end up doing that, usually in our deal, you usually end up falling behind, and then you really fall behind because you know you're behind. You get worried, then you start changing stuff, but instead of changing little stuff, you make a lot of big changes when you're just out in left field. So.
Yeah, you get tinkeritis, kind of dial yourself out. I've been there and done that myself when I was driving. Stormy, the amount of races that you guys run in a year. Can you make it through an entire season with one car if you don't bend it up? I mean, do you got to recycle these cars more frequently because of the volume of races that you run?
Well, yes and no. I mean, if you have a well-built one, you can make it through all year, but you definitely need to at least get a car every year. But one thing we do, I mean, the maintenance we do is definitely, unbelievable. I mean, I would say, most of our bolt-on, suspension parts, we usually end up changing that through the year. There's, it'd be hard to make it through all year running, some of the same stuff for the fact, like Heims and stuff, and you run those for too long, they'll get wore out, you'll get slop in them, and the car don't steer right, and stuff like that. So you just got to stay on top of everything. But yeah, I think the used cars, I mean, they last a long time, so you can definitely run those for a full year. And I think the one I got now, I can run it for a full year. And you can make it work. You just got to stay on top of your maintenance.
Yeah.
Tell us about go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
What about the qualifying format down in Humboldt coming up next weekend? I'd kind of forgotten just exactly how that lays out. Do you qualify on a specific night down there? Just how do you get qualified for the big race on Saturday?
Well, he changed it this year, so we're not real sure how it's going to work out yet. I don't think it's going to be as good as the format they had. I mean, everybody liked the format he had. All of us were talking about it last week, and there's actually none of us that understand why he changed it, but it actually, the format he has now is making it where every one of us has to race every night. You get 2 heat races a night. One heat race, say you start pole one heat race, they're going to invert your second heat race. You got to start dead last. It's all off of passing points, and then they take your total points out of the 2 nights that we race to qualify. So you're going to race 4 heat races. They're going to take your total points, and out of your passing points, they'll take the top 12. You'll be locked into Saturday's feature, and then if you don't get 12th, I guess you're in the B or C, your last chance. So the only thing that does suck about that format, is if you have bad luck in one heat race, or you get ran over or flat or something, I mean, you're done. Your whole weekend is pretty much junk. I guess you're going to be starting in the back, and you're going to have to come from the back. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good luck with that. Hey, before we let you go, Stormy, I got to ask you, we're in Kansas City, our radio show is, and it reaches around all over the Midwest, but one of the premier tracks in our area, if not the premier track in the Kansas City area, is Lakeside Speedway, and they've got a couple big events with you guys running at Lakeside, one with the late models as well. Tell us your thoughts about Lakeside Speedway and going there and running.
Oh, I'm excited to go back there. Last year I got a good starting spot, and I actually passed for the lead and was leading it, and got into turn 1 a little high and got in the guardrail a little bit, and it definitely ended my night there. But I've only raced there once, but it was definitely a fun place. It's fast and definitely pretty good size, but I'm pretty excited to go back to that place because it's so wide and stuff like that. So we actually were looking on it and seeing it on the schedule last night. So I'm definitely excited to go back there, and hopefully I can maybe redeem myself there because I didn't do too hot there last year.
What does that mean for you to be able to run when the Lucas Oil late models are there, the big time late model series running on the same night as you? Does that affect you in any way at all?
No, I mean, I like watching them guys. I guess I don't know what's going to happen there, to be honest. I don't know if maybe I'll decide to race a late model there and not mod, or it's almost impossible to do that deal. Jump back and forth if you try to do it in one night, just because the cars drive so different. So that's a good question. I don't know what the plan is yet for that.
Yeah. Stormy, you got a nice little point lead over Ryan Gustin in the Arbor Masters USMTS Central Region. You're 103 points to Ryan's 95 points. It's tight behind those guys. And if you look at Jason Hughes, 91 points. Youngins, he's got 87. But you've got a nice little 13-point. What is that? Yeah, 13-point. 8-point lead. Talk about leading the points right now in the Central Region.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you never know, because we race so many races, that anything can happen, and, when the luck's on your side, you got to keep it going as long as you can, and get as many points as you can. I had a deal like that last year. I went into the championship, leading the championship of the hunt last year by, I want to say about 15 to 20 points, going into the fall jamboree last year, and of course, all 3 nights, except for 2 out of the 3 nights, I had bad luck. So that kind of ended that. So I ended up third in points. So yeah, you can be on top, and you don't know what's going to happen until the last race is over. So I'm just gonna definitely keep plugging away, and I definitely want to get a championship or something of some sort this year. So that's what we're gonna shoot for.
Well, Stormy, good luck to you down here. Can't wait to see you down here. It's going to be a big event. Just keep your fingers crossed that Mother Nature cooperates, and have a successful rest of 2013. Appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope the weather warms up a little bit. I'm not too good in the snow. Snow deal from where I'm from, so I might freeze to death before that race. So we'll see.
I will tell. One of the coldest nights that I've ever been to a racetrack, though, was at Southern New Mexico Speedway. It was the fall race with the Lucas Oil Sprint Car Series. It gets cold at night in Southern New Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was definitely bundled up that night. I think I know which night you're talking about. I about froze to death. But, yeah, I'll just try to stay warm from now till summer, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Stormy. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you being on the show. Good luck to you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
There he is, Stormy Scott, who is the defending winner of the King of America down at Humboldt Speedway, and it's going to be a big weekend for sure. And, I was talking with the weather people, or at least not the weather people, but talking with some folks that are connected.
About?
They were connected with Humboldt Speedway.
Are you calling Gary Lezak, or what are you doing there?
Well, I wasn't thinking. Well, Gary's predicting 7 inches of snow here tonight. By the way, we'll see.
You do call Lezak if you're going to call anybody, though, right?
No, but I was talking with some folks that are connected with the event down at Humboldt Speedway next weekend, and they're thinking that it's going to warm up for sure. But looking at the long range forecast, we might see some rain down there. But let's hope not. Let's hope they get it in next weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday down in Humboldt Speedway. A great place to watch modified racing if you haven't been down there. And, of course, we're thinking about Ron Whitworth, who passed away unexpectedly this past fall, and thinking about him and his family picking up the pieces and continuing on. And they've already got a couple of weekends of racing in down there. They had a race down there last Saturday night where Jeremy Payne won the USRA modified feature down there. So they're the one facility, despite everything that family's been through, that's been up and running here in this area. Humboldt Speedway already two nights of racing in down there, and looking forward to the big event they've got scheduled next weekend.